I'd like to welcome you all to the 5,535th meeting of the Rotary Club of Chicago. Rotary One is now in session. And we're going to start out today with our thought of the day. And I'd like to introduce you to one of our newest members. She's a senior national account manager at Dish Technologies. Please welcome Steph Lippian. Steph, the floor is yours. You may be on mute, Steph.
I am able to unmute now. I had the corporate taken over. Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for having me here. It has been just loads of fun getting involved with the Rotary and meeting new folks, join new speakers. So thank you for the privilege of allowing me to share my thought of the day. And it is actually a quote from Vivian Green. And the quote is, "Life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain." And for me, it's always been a lovely quote because it's looking about, you know, what's the best that you can make each day, but especially now with COVID and, you know, the wildfires, the economy, the climate, the racial tension and unrest. There's just so many things going on, and you know, it's our duty as people of this world to, you know, respect these things, to, you know, voice our opinions where, you know, we want to, but also realize that there's good things out there too. And, you know, making lemonade, or maybe during COVID, lemon drops out of lemons, having a little cocktail, that might be a little better for those of us who enjoy a cocktail, but it's going to get better, and you can always find something better each day. So with that, best of luck as we all continue with the pandemic. Mr. Mantegna, very big fan, and look forward to the rest of our meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Steph. How about some limoncello? Is that also acceptable? I'm going to go with that. And it is after 12 o'clock, so I might imbibe in a little bit of that
and it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere, indeed. I guarantee you, somewhere on this Zoom meeting, we have somebody who's in a time zone that's at 5 o'clock right now. So no, that's great. I think it's important for us, certainly as Rotarians and people of action, to make sure that we're always thinking about and addressing all of those very important things that you were talking about in our world today, but also recognizing the good. Thank you so much. One of the things that we continue to think about at the board level, as well as with our club administrators, Cam, is when is the next time it's going to be safe to start to reinstitute our in-person meetings. Those of you who are members of our club know that we started having our first Tuesdays of the month, our evening meetings, as in-person meetings while the weather is good, because we can have them outside, so it's a little bit easier to social distance and we don't run into capacity issues. But we do always want to know what our members are thinking and what our members are comfortable with. We don't want to start reinstituting our in-person meetings at the Union League Club unless we know that our members are comfortable and that they're willing to show up, because obviously if we go through the effort of organizing it at the Union League Club again and it's just myself and maybe Ted that show up, then it's probably not going to be worth the effort. So what we're going to do right now, very briefly, is we're going to throw up here an in-person survey, a survey to understand the willingness of our members, or the comfort of our members, to be able to meet in person. It's a very simple survey, and I would ask that only the members of the Rotary Club of Chicago answer that survey. So it should be in the chat box right now. So if you look in the chat box and you're a member of the Rotary Club of Chicago, there's a link right there. Please do click on that link, answer the survey right now. I'll wait 30 seconds because it's a pretty easy survey to answer, but this will really help us know kind of the comfort level of the club. So please click on that and answer the survey. Okay. And while everybody is hopefully completing that survey, it's a very simple question. Well, there's two questions actually. We'll continue on with the program. So for anybody who's attended any Rotary meeting of the Rotary Club of Chicago over the course of the last few years, I think you may have noticed our programs are pretty darn good. Hopefully you've noticed that. We have some incredible speakers. Obviously, today is certainly no exception to that. And that is in large part due to our program's co-chair, Mr. David Hirsch. So I would like to pass the floor over to David to introduce our speaker today. David, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Eric. It's my pleasure to introduce my friend and today's speaker, Joe Mantegna, a native Chicagoan who has lived in Southern California the past 3 decades. For those who are familiar with Joe's career, you know he's appeared on the stage, the big screen, and television, totaling more than 100 credits. On the stage, Joe earned the Tony Award for the Best Featured Actor in Glenn Ross. Joe directed the highly lauded production of David Mamet's Lake Boat. Joe is also best known for his roles in box office hits such as The Three Amigos, The Godfather Part 3, Forget Paris, and Up Close and Personal. On TV, Joe earned Emmy Award nominations for his roles in 3 different miniseries, The Last Don, The Rat Pack, and The Starter Wife. And for the past 13 years, he's played the FBI supervisory special agent David Rossi on the hit CBS show Criminal Minds. Some of you may also know that he voiced the recurring role of mob boss Fat Tony on the animated series The Simpsons, as well as the Simpsons movie. On a personal basis, he's been a lifelong Cubs fan, and he and his wife Arlene own the Burbank, California Taste Chicago restaurant. They're also parents to 2 beautiful daughters, Gia and Mia. As a result of Mia's autism, Joe has become an outspoken advocate for autism research, Easter seals, and more recently, the Special Fathers Network, a dad-to-dad mentoring program for those raising children with special needs. It's my pleasure to be introducing my friend, Joe Mantegna. Joe, the Zoom stage is yours.
Thank you, David. So,
Mr. Mantegna, I believe we actually have a clip that we're going to play before
Okay.
you start your presentation.
okay. I'm sorry, but your analogy is a very bad one. If you want to make a comparison to something, compare it to something that makes sense. Compare it to math or music or art, because otherwise it belittles him and it and me.
No, I don't mean to belittle you at all.
Oh, but you are. You are. Even in the way you're looking at me.
Mr. Waiskin, I think perhaps...
You want to know how good he is? I'll tell you how good he is. He is better at this than I have ever been at anything in my life. He is better at this than you'll ever be at anything. My son has a gift. He has a gift, and once you acknowledge that, then maybe we'll have something to talk about. Okay. Well, that was a clip from Searching for Bobby Fischer, which is an interesting film in the sense that Steve Zalian, who wrote that film, and also it was the first time he directed it, it's a true story based on Josh Waitzkin, who went on to become actually, I think next to Bobby Fischer, the youngest grandmaster in chess. I remember one little anecdote from that film. I remember as we're getting near the end of filming, I'd see Steve, who was obviously written the film as well as was directing it. He'd sneak off and he'd be scribbling in notes in a corner. And I'd say, Steve, what are you scribbling? I see you rushing off scribbling notes all the time. He says, I'm behind on a new movie script that I'm writing for Steven Spielberg. And I'm kind of behind, caught up with the directing of this film. I'm trying to catch up. I said, oh, what's the name of the film? And he says, Schindler's List. And at the time I thought to myself, well, maybe it's a film somewhat like Five Easy Pieces, kind of an esoteric kind of a name for a movie. I said, what is it about? It's about some guy his wife wants him to go to the grocery store and buy a few products. And it turns into something else. He says, oh, no, not that at all. So I just thought it was somewhat interesting that the film he wrote right after Searching for Bobby Fischer was Schindler's List, which he won the Oscar for. And I think had he not won it for that, there was a good chance he would have won it for Searching for Bobby Fischer, which in itself was a wonderful script and a wonderful film. Anyway, but maybe you guys, you tell me where you'd like me to. I mean, this is my first time, I believe, speaking through a Rotary kind of a organization. I did a little research on you. Where would you like me to go with this? In other words, I'd like to kind of accommodate you as to what. So maybe David, you can help me with that. Like what area, what arena would you like me to kind of get into prior to maybe asking questions?
Well, I'm going to be selfish and suggest that you start with your roots and growing up very humbly here in the Chicago area and the path that you took to get to LA. And, you can make reference to one or more of the highlights of your career.
Okay.
And I've tried to do that in my brief introduction,
Great.
which has been 3 or 4 times as long, but I was hoping that you might, share with us what it's been like to be on the stage, the big screen, TV.
Sure.
Well,
let me, sure, look, this is great. Well, let me start with this, that there was nothing in my life that would have pointed me toward doing what I ultimately do and have done for a living. I grew up on the west side of Chicago, fairly, I would have to say probably a lower middle class existence in the sense that my father he was handicapped his entire life. He only had part of one lung really for almost all his life and only lived to be about 57. And my mother worked at Sears Roebuck, the originals. I think that's why we lived in that neighborhood. It was the original Sears Roebuck. People from Chicago would understand. It's the one on Holman and Arlington. The building is still there. But my mother wrapped packages in the mail order room. And, but this was I was born in 47. So, I mean, I grew up as a child in the 50s. It wasn't a bad existence. I'm not trying to say that we had, woe is me. I had this poor downtrodden life. It was very much it's all we knew, and it was fine. We always had enough to eat, and there were no luxuries. I remember the idea of a vacation would be to go up to Holland, Michigan for the day and come back, type of thing. But my point being that there was really nothing special going on that pointed me toward the life that I ultimately, certainly the career path that I chose. So growing up on the west side of the city, I had a typical childhood. We moved to Cicero, Illinois, back right around when I started high school in the early 60s. And it was there that it was really due to the fact that I saw the movie West Side Story. And it resonated in me. I mean, here I see this musical comedy of this movie, and it was like magical. And those who are old enough understand what it's like to grow up at a time when you went to the movies. You could continue to watch the movie all day as long as you don't leave the theater. It wasn't like it never cleared you out. So it got to the point where I liked the movie so much, I think I came back with a lunch bag the next day and saw it like 3 or 4 times in a row. So what ultimately happened is that following year, I was at the high school. I was a junior in high school at Morton East High School in Cicero, Illinois. And they had signs up in the theater, in the school, saying auditions for West Side Story in the Little Theater. Now, first of all, I didn't know there was a room called the Little Theater in this high school. And second of all, I didn't understand what they were talking about because I had assumed West Side Story was the movie I had seen and had no even inkling that it was based on a play, having only seen one play in my life at that point that my brother took me to because he had an extra ticket when he took his girlfriend. So what ultimately happened is I asked somebody, I said, what are they talking about, West Side Story? And they said, well, there's auditions. It's for the play West Side Story. Oh, it's a play, really? Anyway, I was so fascinated with that film. I thought to myself, I have to at least check this out. And so I remember finding out what you needed to do for this audition. They said, learn a song. I got the album, I learned a song. I showed up that night to this little theater that I didn't know existed in the building, and was taken by looking around the room, and here's all these young people dressed in black leotards and stuff, obviously the people from the theater department. And it was like landing on another planet. I thought I was on Mars, but I was still taken by the fact of, well, I'm here, let's see what this is all about. And I remember finally when my name was called, I went up on the stage, and I couldn't really see out because they had little lights, like, you know, floor lights, stage lights at the floor, and then lights from above. And the teachers are out there and a couple students, and a piano player hits the note, and I sing the song I had prepared. And at the end of the song, there was a little smattering of applause that came from the audience. And all I could tell you is it was one of those moments. I remember Francis Coppola mentions it in his book, The Godfather, about how when Michael Corleone sees this woman in Sicily, and he gets that thing where the lightning bolt hits him in the chest, that feeling. That's the feeling I had at that moment when I heard this little smattering of applause coming out of the darkness. Because at that point in my life, I think I was 15, 16 years old. I had never had anyone applaud anything I had ever done in my life, because I was a marginal baseball player. I was on a baseball team, but I was pretty all field, no hit. And at that instant, I said to myself, oh my God, I want to do this more than anything in my life. And rather than ramble on and give you a brief summary of the last 51 years that I've been in the business, from that moment on, I never looked back. As it turned out, I did not get cast in that play. And I remember being devastated the next morning when I came to the school to see if my name was on the list, and it wasn't. And then I thought to myself, why am I devastated over something that I didn't even know existed the day before? And that's when I thought this must be serious, which caused me to inquire with the theater department, ask to see if I could become a student in the class of the theater department, which they were gracious and wonderful about doing. And I owe so much to that original staff at that high school, Morton East High School, because for that year, my junior year, the next year, my senior year, I stayed on and did junior college there for 2 more years, basically because I had no money to go away to a college anyway, a regular college. But I stayed in the theater department all that time. And from that point on, took a government loan to go to the Goodman School of Drama for 2 years, which was based in Chicago. And from that, in 1969, tried out for my first professional show, which was the play Hair, got cast, wound up starting a relationship with another cast member who turned out to be my wife, who has been my wife now. And we've been together since then, since 1969. And that's, in a somewhat of a nutshell, is my backstory as to how I got from point A to point whatever letter I'm at this point in my life. But it's been a hell of a ride, and one I've enjoyed very much and feel very blessed that I've been able to, since 16 years old, let's say, been able to pursue a dream that I had as a young man, as a teenager, and be able to follow through with it. I really had no plan B, and it ultimately did work out. It wasn't always easy, it wasn't always successful, but I always enjoyed it and never lost the focus of wanting to stay on that path. So, does that answer that question?
David, David Hirsch, do you have, since there's still, we have a fair bit of time here, if you have some additional questions, since you're kind of the host for Mr. Mantegna, feel free to ask it before I get to some of the questions from other folks on the Zoom call.
Sure. Well, thanks for the backstory, Joe. That's really humble beginnings, and that you've done so many different things. Your career took you to New York for a while, and then out to LA. And perhaps you can just recount maybe what some of the key turning points were in your career. And, it's not common that somebody would be on the stage, on the big screen, and on TV and do some of the things that you've done. And then I'm hoping you can talk a little bit about Fat Tony, because I don't think most people would know that you were in The Simpsons.
Yeah, well, that's my longest running role. I'm still, in fact, I'm doing one. Today is Tuesday. I'm doing an episode on Thursday. And this is my 31st year of playing that character, which started as, I thought it was going to be a one-shot deal, and it just turned into what it turned into. But if you're talking about turning points, I mean, the thing is, it's funny, when I won the Tony Award in 1984, and having said that I started my career in '69, I remember one of the press people in New York at the time asked me, he said, "What's it like to win a Tony Award?" I said, it's a little like winning the lottery, but I've been buying tickets for 15 years. The point being that I've been an actor for that amount of time, and just kind of being a workaday actor, and just going from job to job, and sometimes no job at all, but yet and not very successful at it, at least financially. But yet I always felt that this is what I do, this is what I did, and this is what I had to offer, and hopefully, as long as I got by, as long as as long as I enjoyed it. And I did a lot of local theater around Chicago, in Chicago area. I was with a group called the Organic Theater. I was lucky enough to come up with an idea for a play called Bleacher Bums, which was based on the fans of the Chicago Cubs who sit in the bleachers. We did that in 1977 at that theater, and it turned out to be actually fairly successful. And to this day, it's still performed, different theaters, summer stock all over the world. But this is just, that's part of the process. In other words, you surround yourself with people with like interest, and hopefully it takes you somewhere. And in my case, it did. But again, like I say, it wasn't always successful. It always wasn't like, you don't go into the arts because you say to yourself, oh, I think I'll do that because it's such a high paying profession. It's so easy to be successful at it. You do it because you have to do it. You have your heart is telling you this is what you have to do, and so you pursue it. And sometimes it works out. And in my case, it obviously did. If you're talking about turning points, I think I was fortunate that the woman that I married, who we've now been together, as I said, over 50 years, is somebody from a similar background. We actually knew each other when I was doing theater in Cicero, Illinois. She was living in Berwyn, Illinois, and they would do district-wide musicals. And we actually even did a musical together, part of the school district back in the mid-'60s. So when 1969 rolled around and I auditioned for that play Hair, she auditioned for that same play. And it was one of those instances of like, hey, how you doing? I haven't seen you in a while. One thing led to another, and it led to the marriage that I'm still, in to this day. We have, as you mentioned, we have these two wonderful daughters, and my oldest daughter, Mia, who is on the autism spectrum. And again, I think I'm fortunate to have a wife and partner who is so supportive and is so there and is so, because that in itself could be a difficult situation. You, David, know more than most about that with your dad's initiative. But it's just so important in life to have that kind of basically a team. And the first team you have in your life is your family, wherever it may be. And I've been very fortunate that my immediate family, meaning my brother, my dad while he was alive, my mother who lived to be 101 years old, and who I never really even understood what I did for a living, which is probably a blessing. And then beyond that, my wife, my children, my friends. I've been very lucky that way. And I think what you're doing here, and I mean this sincerely, this whole this Rotary club you have, and the fact that you guys are Rotary 1, the fact that you have this organization where individuals decide to, hey, let's all get together on whatever you say it is, the first Tuesday, and you do these kinds of things. That's, to me, that's what makes the world go round. That's what moves us forward. That's what progress is. That's what evolution is. That's why we're hopefully, even though we're in a tough year in the 2020 worldwide, we've come a long way from living in caves, let's put it that way. And I would like to think the evolution goes on, and what help makes it go on is positive thinking organizations like this and others like it that communicate, that have people of like minds kind of say, hey, let's talk about things. Let's try to, what can we do to move the needle forward? And that's great. And that's why I agreed to do this. And that's why I'm happy to be here.
So one last question from me. Is there a role model that you've looked up to in your acting and performance career? And then separately, if you were to just share one story from your career, what would that be?
Okay. Well, in terms of role model, all of my role models tend to be within my profession, tend to be not people because they were such great actors, but people who were great people in spite of, or because of, or not because of, but in company with being very successful in their profession. In other words, there's a lot of wonderful talent out there that you say to yourself, oh my God, that's an incredible talent. I really admire that person. But then if you maybe knew a little bit more about what their personal life was about and this, that, and the other, you might say to yourself, well, I don't know, it's not really somebody I hope to emulate. Well, on the other hand, I'll give you an example, Billy Crystal, who I worked with in the movie Forget Paris, and it became a dear friend. First worked with him in a series Soap years ago, for those of you old enough to remember that. But what I loved about Billy, and to this day still love about Billy, is that above and beyond his success as an entertainer, what is even greater is his success as a husband and a parent, because he raised two beautiful girls and has grandchildren and this wonderful marriage and just a kind, wonderful human being. And I remember how he used to tell me stories, and this was way before I had kids. And he was, and he were about the same age. But what he said, he would have to be on the road as a young comic and change diapers on toilet seats in motels, and then go off that night to do his act and come back to the motel where his wife was with the baby. And it's those kinds of things. Those are my role models, people like him that at least within my profession and in any profession, that without, making a big deal about it, are just, straight up and down good people, and yet have achieved such, prominence in the public arena, and who may not even know what's going on in their personal life, but yet if they knew it, would be very proud of that, or at least appreciative of that, or somebody worth admiring. And then for the other question about is one specific story, that's a tough one. And in a way, I think it would be almost like, I feel so blessed, as I said, to be doing something that I've loved doing since I was, 15, 16 years old, that it's all been great. And there's like a saying that goes, I'd heard once, and it's kind of true. It says, the greatest professions in the world are probably be a professional athlete, be a rock and roll star, be a astronaut, maybe who's gone to the moon, or be a TV movie star actor. But if you compare them all, being the actor is probably the best because you could play the other three. And I've always kind of been comfortable with that feeling that, boy, how lucky am I that of all those fantasy jobs, I could actually play and have done it, played, professional athletes and rock stars. So, so if I was going to pick one thing, it's just that how blessed am I to have had that opportunity and still have that opportunity to live the life I live. You know? So everybody's got a story, and nobody gets a free ride. But I'm happy with the way things worked out for me.
Thanks, Joe. Back to you, Eric.
All right, thank you very much, David. Maybe I need to change my profession. That's a pretty compelling argument. I've got a lot of questions coming in from our viewers here today. So let's start with Criminal Minds, shall we? We've got a few questions there, and I'll kind of lump them together. The question is, what drew you to the role as David Rossi? And then on the show, what's your favorite episode and favorite co-star?
Okay. Well, what drew me to, well, first of all, the lifestyle, first of all, drew me, because as an actor, for most of my career prior to that, it's been great. It was great. I had done theater, I had done film, I had done television. A lot of it constituted a lot of travel. And that was wonderful too. My family, and we would always travel together. That was always a stipulation, partly because of my oldest daughter's autism. I just thought it's not a good idea to try to kind of break up the family unit. Like, hey, Daddy's going off to Italy to do a movie. I'll see you in a couple of months. So we always traveled together, and which took us to places like Italy, Russia, Australia, all over Canada, United States, a lot of that. But as the years went on, and my children grew up and became of an age where it wasn't as easy it's easier to pack up a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old and take them with you. It's different when they're teenagers. And I just thought it was, I wanted to have more of a sense of stability. So I was actually looking for a situation where I could do maybe a TV series that's shot in LA, would have some continuity, and be able, I can come home every night and still have a life that was somewhat, I don't want to say normal, but more structured. And how lucky was I to land a show that, there's no guarantees, obviously, with any television show that they're going to run. Ours ran 15 years, and I did 13 of those 15 years. So that was a blessing in itself. So that's what drew me to it. Of course, the quality of the show. When I met with the producer, turns out the showrunner, in other words, the person kind of the head guy who's running the show, was an ex-Chicago policeman, Ed Bernero, who had been a Chicago policeman for 10 years. So here's an Italian ex-cop from Chicago running the show. I thought the only bad thing about Ed is he was a Sox fan and not a Cubs fan. So at least he was 2 out of 3. But we got along great, and it was a great experience, and I loved doing the show. I couldn't pick one cast member because I had different relationships with all of them, and we're all still very tight. I think I was like a second dad to both Matthew Kubler, Dr. Reed, and to also Shamar Moore. In many ways, they called me Papa Joe. But the women on the show were fantastic. Everybody, all the guys, Adam, Daniel, you name it. Anybody who's ever was on that show, I'm very, to this day, very close to. And in terms of favorite episode, I'd have to say, well, first of all, my daughter Gia did an episode when she was 17, and it wasn't due to me. They asked if they knew she was an actress and asked her to do a role, and she did it. Did a wonderful job. Then 10 years later, when she was 27, they wanted to bring the character back because they wanted to see what happened to her. She was playing the daughter of a hitman. So they wanted to see what happens to somebody like that 10 years later. So they brought her character back and did a whole little arc. That was very gratifying. But beyond that, there was also, I directed 2 out of the 3 episodes that dealt with a character that played by Meshach Taylor, who was an African-American actor people may remember from Designing Women, among other things. But he was one of my wife and my closest friends. We'd done hair with him back in the 60s. We'd known him for 40 years. I was instrumental in getting him involved on the show as a character because he loved that. He's the guy that first told me, oh, you gotta watch the show Criminal Minds before I ever even knew about it. He loved the show. I was able to get him, get my assistant wound up writing this episode for his character. He played that in 2 episodes. The actor passed away. And I was able to then direct a third episode that dealt with his passing. And to me, that was a very important episode, because if anybody who sees that episode, which is called Anonymous, you see the burial of a character, but was also the burial of one of my best friends in life. And so that was a time where art and life kind of intersected. And his character played my former Marine sergeant from Vietnam. And so that was a whole storyline about us in Vietnam and that, which touches on a whole other aspect of my life, because I'm very active with our US military in terms of, I've been hosting the National Memorial Day concert for 19 years now in Washington. I'm not a political person in the sense of I always align with our military in the sense of, I'm just grateful to live in a country where you have the ability to vote and go pick who you want to, run things. But at the end of the day, I've always been an independent. I've been very supportive of our military, who at the end of the day are those who ensure us that right to be able to vote, which we're about to do in about, a few months. Anyway, so that's my Criminal Minds experience.
And thank you for that. I think that's actually a nice foray into sort of a little bit of changing gears here for the questions. So you know that the Rotary Club of Chicago, Rotary in general, we're fundamentally a service organization. And I think you started touching a little bit on kind of how you give back. So can you expand on that a little bit? What are your goals for giving back here in Chicago, because we're a club in Chicago, but even just more broadly?
Well, in Chicago in particular, the part of the reason for it is just come down the stairs, which is my daughter Mia. I've been the spokesperson for Easter Seals Chicago for quite a while now, and it's because they have a whole autism school. Hi, Mia. And I remember when they approached me at the time, it was like, would I be involved with this organization? And like the Rotary Club at the time, I didn't know much about it specifically. I mean, you always hear the name Easter Seals, but what does that mean? Well, of course, I looked into it. I loved the people involved. I did get involved. And of course, for me, it was a personal thing. I mean, here they were trying to start this autism school and develop it and turn it into something for the city of Chicago. I thought, well, why wouldn't I? My feeling is this: you talk about giving back. The giving back that I do is minimal. Minimal in the sense that, for the most part, people come to me to get involved because I know, because of my profession, it carries some public kind of a profile. And I get it. In other words, oh, it's Joe Mantegna. Oh, that's the guy from Criminal Minds or Godfather or Simpsons, whatever it may be. And that's fine. If that attention causes people to, look a little bit closer as whatever this thing that I happen to be supporting, whether it's Easter Seals, whether it's, charity involving, there's other charities. You can go on my website and see the things that I support. But my feeling is, where my gratitude goes and appreciation goes, is to people, the people like yourselves, the people who, they're not necessarily household names. They're not people their names you're going to see in the TV guide, but these are people who 365 days a year have it on their mind. Let's do something good. Let's get involved in an organization that does something positive. So, like if I'm going to talk about the Easter Seals, it's those people who, are out in the trenches doing the work that needs to be done to keep that organization alive. Yeah, you walk into their beautiful theater that they have now, and they were so kind enough. They've got my wife and my name right up there, Joe and Arlene Mantegna, and this huge, beautiful theater, and it's so, makes me so proud and all that. But like I said, it's just the name, and I mean, and if it's been helpful for me to be involved with that and to help maybe with their funding and make that happen, great. But the real appreciation has to go to those who made it happen, who make the organization go, the people who came to me in the first place and asked me to get involved. So my involvement is, that's really the easy job, I mean? And so that's just the way I feel, and that's why and again, why I respect organizations like yours and anything else is just trying to do something, do something positive.
We actually have a very close relationship with Easter Seals Chicago as well, and we do support that organization too. So we may cross paths again in the future through Easter
Great.
Seals. I'm happy to hear that you support them as well.
Very much.
One final question, and then I think we'll have to wrap up here. But because you touched upon your experience raising a child on the spectrum, there's been a couple of questions about that from teachers who have worked with children on the spectrum. Just wanted to know a little bit more about your experience and giving yourself to helping these special people, as well as the Special Dads Network, which I believe is how you have connected with David.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I would say this, the one thing that I did learn, and I think one of the benefits of doing all the travel that we did was that, early on, I mean, like, as I said earlier, nobody gets a free ride in life and everybody has a story, So I have mine, you have yours, everybody has theirs. But in terms of with our daughter, when she was first diagnosed, our first feeling was, well, now what? What do we do? What's the best course of action? And one of the things we discovered, part of it was due to the fact that we did some traveling, was like when we would go to Canada, when she was a very young child, we realized that in the school system there, because we would always try to find the best kind of therapies, this, that, and the other, and any places we go, even in foreign countries. We found out, like at the time in Canada, whereas here at the time in the United States, they were always pushing, well, the special ed, we got special classes for this, and a special class for that, and a special class for this. Or in Canada, we found out, they said, well, we don't do it that way. Our feeling is, we think it's better to put your child into an environment where everybody is not special, and yet whatever kind of needs she needs to be addressed, we'll provide that for her. Basically what's called inclusion. And it's something that has taken much more root here in the States, but at that time it wasn't such a big thing. So that was a real eye-opener. And what it caused us, my wife and I, to understand and believe is that when you have a special needs child, the world is not going to change for them. So your child, or whoever that person may be, has to learn to adapt to the world. And the more that you kind of integrate the two, the better off everyone is. And that's why when my daughter got a little bit older, and was like more like in 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, we always would go to the schools on the first day and visit with the teachers and kind of almost insist, if we could, to have our child be in a regular classroom, but hopefully the teacher would understand and accommodate it. And we found out that for the most part they would and did. Now there was always, little things that would change things and you'd have to adjust this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, I think that was, we benefited from it. My daughter benefited from it, but even greater, I think, was those other children benefited from it because they realized they were put in a situation. Because when I was a kid going to high school, there was that special, those special classes where those kids were, and you kind of thought that they were different and separate. And there was, I don't think that was necessarily the best way of doing things. And I'm glad they're kind of going away from it. Now, in some instances, of course, you have to have that, and certainly. But I think as much as possible, the more that people can integrate, and I mean, we're going through it now in so many ways, whether it's racially, whether it's due to physical impairments, whatever it may be. This planet is, especially this year, has gotten so small. And we share so much in common. The more that we can integrate with each other on every level, I think the better off we all are. And that's just the way it's supposed to be. And hopefully, with education, we'll move more and more in that direction.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Mantegna, for that perspective. It has been an absolute thrill to have you on here today. I can tell you, watching people's faces in the Zoom meeting and reading the chat box, that the excitement is palpable. So it has, I know it's been a great treat for everybody to have you here today. And we are going to send you a very, very small token of our appreciation. But as you know, the purpose of our club is to impact our community, to affect lasting change in Chicago and of course around the world. But here in Chicago, we do that in many ways, supporting the Easter Seals, for example, but also by providing these candles to our speakers. Basically, all proceeds from these candles support an organization called Bright Endeavors, and their mission is to empower young moms by providing transitional jobs and professional skills training. So this not only helps those young moms, but obviously it supports their kids, and therefore it supports the community as well. So you will be receiving one of these from us in the mail. And again, thank you so much for being here with us
My
today.
pleasure. Thank you, David. Thank you for getting me involved, and good, always the best for you and your organization. And hey, give my regards to Broadway and Division, or one of those streets up in there.
It's about a block away from me, so I'll be doing that as soon as we're done with this
right.
meeting here. So
All
thanks
righty.
again.
Let's pray looking forward to the Cubs Sox World Series too. Hopefully
that would be fantastic. That would be
Okay.
fantastic. Good for the city, that's for sure.
Take care.
Very good. You as well.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay. Well, again, this was a fantastic program. I hope you all enjoyed it very much. Please stick around, all of you, all of our guests here today, for the rest of the program. And in a little bit, I'll want to see who all is on and give you all a chance to introduce yourselves. So do please stick around. Right now, we want to do a new member induction. I think we're very fortunate to have a continuous flow of new members joining the club who are interested in what we do, despite the fact that we're in the middle of a pandemic. Our membership chair, Laura Inns, is not here today, but instead board member and Job One chair, Alita Williams, will be doing the induction. Alita, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Eric, so much, and glad to be able to do this today. We have a new member induction of Joel Tim. It is my great pleasure on behalf of the Board of Directors and members of the Rotary Club of Chicago to welcome you as a member of Rotary One. We welcome you not only for the fine fellowship that we shall share, but also for talents, abilities, and enthusiasm that will help us to carry out our many projects to make our community, our country, and the world a better place in which to live. Rotary is not a political organization, but all Rotarians are vitally concerned with everything pertaining to good citizenship and election of good men and women to public office. Rotary is not a charitable organization, yet its activities exemplify the charity and sacrifices that one should expect from people who believe that they have a responsibility to help others. Rotary is not a religious organization, but it is built on those external principles that have served as a moral compass for people throughout the ages. Rotary is an organization of business and professional people pledged to upholding the highest professional standards. Rotarians believe that worldwide fellowship and international peace can be achieved when business people unite under the banner of service. Joel, you have been chosen for membership in the Rotary Club of Chicago because your fellow Rotarians believe you to be a leader in your profession and because you manifest the intelligence and commitment of the heart that fit you to interpret and impart the message of Rotary. You are a representative of your profession in this club, and any information of an educational value pertaining to that profession must naturally come to us through you. At the same time, you become an ambassador for us to your profession, and we rely on you to carry the principles and ideals of service, which we are here to inspire to those who share your professional activity. The community will know and judge Rotary by your embodiment of it in character and service, and we accept you as a member because we know our principles and organization will be safe in your keeping. We also expect you to give us the inspiration that will help us become better Rotarians. Normally we would say the president would give you a pen right now, but you will be distinguished with a pen of a Rotarian, and we gladly offer you our Rotary friendship. everyone, let's welcome Joel Tim. And Joel, please give us a brief description of yourself to the group.
Thank you. So my name is Joel Tim. I work for a company here in Chicago called Team Merchant, and we're a values-driven company, and we help provide payment solutions for companies looking for payment solutions of all different sizes and all different environments. And it's a purposely complicated industry that wants everyone to not understand what they're paying. So they just say, okay, that's what I have to pay, and then they pay it. So what we help do is help our clients understand why they're paying what they're paying and what they can do to help their situations. And I'm really excited to join Rotary. I grew up, I was Eagle Scout. I was really involved in organizing service projects. And then in college and after college, I worked pretty closely with my dad, Al Tim, who's on the Zoom. Hey, Dad, who is his past president. And we worked for the Presbyterian Men's Fellowship organizing service projects around the Detroit area, improving the community in different ways. So I've been looking for a way to give back and an organization that gives back that's service oriented, a service commitment, because I always like to do things like real tangible hands-on effects. So I'm honored to be accepted into the club, and I'm looking forward to getting to know everybody and to working with everyone. So, oh, hey, Marilyn Lopez. Awesome. Thank you. Yep. So.
Well, welcome, Joel. Welcome aboard. Great to have you as part of the team, and I'm glad to hear your background in service. We're going to get you engaged right away. Don't you worry about that.
Sounds great. Awesome.
Very good, and thank you, Lita, for doing the induction today. Want to make sure that we're continuing to feature and promote our own members. I do want to highlight member successes whenever they come my way. And today I want to just talk briefly about our member, Ruth Ann Watkins, who just recently received the Village Chicago's 2020 Trailblazer Awards. So Ruth Ann is board chair for the RRF Foundation for Aging, one of the most important organizations in the U.S. dedicated to improving the lives of older adults. She's worked tirelessly to improve the health and well-being of others through her work at the RRF, where for over 20 years, she's been part of a team that has funded hundreds of organizations, thereby helping tens of thousands of individuals. Basically, she received the award because she's bringing about positive change for older adults. So thank you, Ruth Ann, for that. And for others who have successes in their career, professionally, or even personally with their families, please do send them our way. I want to highlight it. I want people to know the great things that you all are up to. Okay. For the next part of the meeting here, we're going to go through guest introductions. It's a longstanding tradition for the Rotary Club of Chicago to make sure that we know all the great guests we have from around the world. Obviously with Zoom, we have even more guests on a regular basis, which is a good thing. I will do my best to orchestrate the chaos to some extent and try to keep us organized here as I run through the guests that I see on the participant list. And then at the end, if I've missed you, I'll give you a chance to speak up. Please just tell me your name, tell us your name, tell us what you do, and tell us if you're with the Rotary Club, do tell us the name of the Rotary Club as well, because we have many guests on today. I think we might have a good 40 or 50 guests, so it might take a little while, but that's okay. We want to meet you all. So let's see, I'm going to start from the top alphabetically here on my list. Ann Sutcliffe, please introduce yourself.
Hi everybody, I'm Ann Sutcliffe. I'm the immediate past president of the Rotary Club of Sawby Bridge, which is in West Yorkshire, near Manchester, in the UK. I'm also the district membership lead for our district, which is District 1040. So it's lovely to see that you're inducting somebody today. And I'll be taking, obviously, greetings back to my club, extending the greetings from our president, Alan, to you guys.
Well, thank you. Right back at you. Please do make sure to share our greetings as well. It's wonderful to have you Let's see, we have Randy Pote from District 5300. Randy.
Hi, I am a member of Las Vegas 1 WON, where Opportunity Networks, past district governor of District 5300, 1516. Had the pleasure of joining you all for lunch during my governor year, late 2016, saw a Cubs game. The Rockies were playing. And I'm also the chair, unfortunate this year, of the Rotary Rose Parade Float Committee, of which you all know there is no Tournament of Roses Parade, so there is no float. But thank you so much for letting me be part of your meeting each week.
Yeah, absolutely. Great to see you again. You're always welcome back.
Thank you.
Very good. Let's see, we have Heath Mielke. Heath, would you like to introduce yourself?
I am a brand new member in the Downers Grove Rotary Club. And I'm a finance and payments executive. I'm gonna actually look up Joel and hear a little bit what he's doing later. But yeah, thanks for letting me join to hear Joe Mantegna.
Absolutely. Welcome anytime. Let's see, we have Brad Masteler. Brad, could you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Brad Mustoller. I'm the immediate past president of the Rotary Club of Spruce Grove in Alberta, Canada. And I'm here with a handful of other club members. We were just doing a pilgrimage to where it all started. So really appreciated the high profile speaker today and a great experience. You guys have a great club.
Oh, thank you so much. Always happy to hear that. And through the magic of Zoom, feel free to join anytime. Thank you so much. Let's see, we have Catherine Peterson. Catherine.
Hi, thank you very much. It was a thrill to be on the meeting today, and that's the one good thing I think that we can take from this COVID pandemic is that we have the ability to reach other people in other places, and it's been really great. I'm with the Rotary Club of Spruce Grove along with Brad Mustoller, and I am the president-elect.
Very good. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
And I probably should also just mention very briefly here that I'm sure my pronunciation will be atrocious of folks' names, so please, I'm going to seek forgiveness here in advance. Do correct me when I mispronounce your name. Bill Ballou, please. I know you're an old friend for many of us, but you're still a guest, so introduce yourself.
Okay, well, thank you very, very much, Eric. Always enjoy these meetings. Bill Ballou, past district governor from 5630, which is in Nebraska, but now I'm a member of the Chicago Lakeview Rotary Club, and I'm also president-elect coming in for next year. And I do say after today's meeting, one of my favorite non-Rotary projects is working with Shepherd's College up in Union Grove, Wisconsin, just about 80 miles north of here. It's the only post-secondary school for the developmentally and intellectually disabled, and doing a tremendous job with students up there. So that's one of my favorite projects outside of this. So thanks for the day, Eric. Enjoyed it very much. Thank you.
Awesome. Welcome. We have, let's see, Cristel Cáceres from Honduras. Cristel, please introduce yourself. You might be on mute, Cristel. Can you hear me? All right, we may have to come back to Cristel. I think we're having some audio issues there. Let's go on to District Governor nominee, Ade. Ade, please introduce yourself.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here. Enjoy the program. What a great guest. My name is Ade Onayemi. I'm the District Governor nominee for District 6450, the birthplace. I'm honored to be here, and my district governor year is 2022, 2023. I'm glad that we buy green bananas in Rotary, so looking forward to keep serving in that capacity. Thank you.
Wonderful. Great to see you. Thanks for joining us today. Let's see. I have an Elke, E-L-K-E. I don't have a last name here, but please introduce yourself.
My name is Elke Friedman. I belong to the Rotary Club of Northbrook. And my problem is we meet at the same time. So, but I'm so happy I'm on your distribution list because you have such interesting speakers. I'm always a little bit jealous, I have to say, But it's a wonderful time to join your club, and good luck with everything. And it's Rotary. Thank you for I can participate.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining. Good to see you. Let's see. I have an Eric with a C, E-R-I-C. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Eric Wessel. I'm with the Rotary Club of New Lenox, Illinois, and I work for the Wilkine Division of Transportation and project manager. And I'm very happy to be in on this presentation. It was an awesome presentation. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Glad to have you on our meeting. And maybe I need to connect with you because I'm a transportation consultant. So just doing a little networking right here in the middle of our meeting, aren't we?
Give me a call and we can set something up.
All right. Sounds good. Glad to have you on the meeting. Thanks for joining. Let's see. Another, this is an Erica, E-R-I-C-A. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Erica Egger, and I'm the past president of the Plainfield Rotary Club. And I was so glad I stumbled upon the link to register for this this meeting today. It's such a great program.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining. Good to have you on. Let's see. We have a Gunad, G-E-N-A-D. Could you please introduce yourself? You might be on mute. Okay, well, let's move on to our next guest, Gianni Policastri. Could you please introduce yourself, Gianni?
Hi, everybody. I'm Gianni Policastri from Rotary Club Corigliano Rossano Sibaris, Calabria, Italy. It's the ancestors' land of Margaiuco. And I am DGN, District Governor nominee of the new District 21-2. And I am honored to attend at a meeting of the very first Rotary Club in the world. Hi to everybody.
Welcome. Great to have you on, and I love that connection to Margaiuco. Awesome. Let's see. We have immediate past district governor 4340, Roberto Silva. Could you please introduce yourself, Roberto?
Thanks, Eric. Hi, everyone. Well, my name is Roberto Silva. I'm an engineer, and I work on consulting. I'm the immediate past district governor for District 4340, the central part of Chile. Narrow country, but my district is the widest district in the world. Goes all the way from the Andes Mountains to Easter Island. So as a governor, you have to visit the island. That's a hard job. And hi to everyone. Great meeting. Hope to receive information of future meetings. Would like to attend again. And I want just to say hi to Marcelo and Silvia. I saw them around there. Good friends from Brazil, and also Marga. So thanks.
Thank you so much for joining, Roberto. I'm actually going to give you a task to do. When we get to the end of the meeting, would you mind reciting the four-way test for our members?
Yes,
Excellent.
sir.
Excellent. We'll put it up on the screen so you can read right off of it. It'll be nice and easy. Thank you. Okay, next guest, Jan Gillett. Jan, would you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, I'm Jan Gillett. I'm from the Rotary Club of Spruce Grove, Alberta, Canada. And our president, Brad, suggested we join the meeting today. And so I looked up to see a little bit about your club and was super excited to see who your guest speaker was. I'm a huge fan of Criminal Minds, and so I really enjoyed your program today. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, you looked, like you said, you looked it up at the right time. Thanks so much for joining us. Let's see, we have Yana Nikodinovska.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Yana Nikodinovska, and I'm the past president of Rotary Club of Skopje. That is in Macedonia, or for my US friends, it's Southeast Europe. I visited
Oh, Yana, I think we lost you. Yana? I think we lost the signal. We can come back to Yana. Let's see, we have Judy Kisanko. Judy, could you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Judy Kisanko, District 5370, and one of that bunch from the Rotary Club of Spruce Grove, Alberta, Canada, one of Brad's pilgrims. Thank you very much for having us today. It was wonderful.
Thanks for joining. Leslie Gottlinger.
There we go. I always forget to unmute. Thank you very much. I'm from District 6450, Rotary Club of Oak Park River Forest, past president and a retired special ed director. Amazing program. I always love coming to Chicago one, except this one saved the parking fee. That was even better. Thank you.
Yeah, can't beat free, right?
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for joining. Let's see, John Noblock. John, could you introduce yourself?
I'm John Noblock from the Rotary Club of Naperville, Illinois, about 30 miles west of Chicago. I had the pleasure of making up at Rotary 1 probably about 1995, and certainly once we get back to meeting in person, I invite anyone to come out and make up in Naperville.
Sounds good. We may take you up on that offer. Welcome. Just so everybody knows, we probably, with our volume of guests, we may be running a few minutes over today, but only a few minutes. So please do stick around. We do have some announcements as well. But continuing with our guest introduction, Liz Goggins. Liz, welcome back. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, Eric. It's great to be back. I love coming to your meetings. My name is Liz Goggins. I am the Public Image Chair and the Disaster Preparedness Chair for the Rotary Club of St. Croix Mid-Isle in the U.S. Virgin Islands. I first want to say thank you to Alita, who met with our vocational service chairperson. We had a great Zoom meeting where they exchanged some really good ideas. So that was a good meeting, and I'd like to thank her for that. And for those of you who are not familiar with where we are, if you look at the hurricane tracking map, we are there. We are in the hurricane zone, but right now with all the storms out there, there's only one right now that has potential to come to us, and that's one just off the coast of Africa. So all of us here in the Virgin Islands and our district, which is the Northern Caribbean Islands, we are all paying very close attention to hurricanes.
Well, stay safe down there, and thanks for joining. Let's see, Marcelo Hake. Marcelo, could you introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi, Eric. Thank you. I'm from District 440. I live in Santos, Brazil. And I loved the presentation, but the best part is the guest presentations. Now we learned it so much, and thank you. And stay safe, everyone. Bye-bye.
All right, you as well. Welcome, and feel free to join anytime.
Thank you.
Let's see, we've got Maria Agustina Lore from Rotary Club de Bella Vista. Could you introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you, Eric. Hi, big hugs from Buenos Aires, Argentina to all. Thank you for having me here today. Rotary Ryla and exchange student, and I'm a Rotarian right now, so thank you so much for having me today. Thank you.
Awesome, always glad to see when alumni of those various youth programs graduate and move on to Rotary. So I'm glad you did that, and thanks for joining our meeting today. Let's see.
Lo llamo en un minuto, lo llamo un ratito.
Our next our next guest is Mr. Awesome Rick. Well, if he's Mr. Awesome, he must be part of Rotary Club of Chicago. Mr. Awesome Rick, where are you at?
I am also one of the pilgrims from Spruce Grove, Alberta, Canada. My name is Rick Listang. I have a small home building company in Spruce Grove, and I've been a member of Rotary for probably the last 3 or 4 years. You guys are breaking my virginity today on joining other clubs. This is the first club I've ever attended outside of my own, and I want to say that I'm extremely impressed not only by your guests, but also by the number of guests you have zooming in, and from where they are all over the world. It really gives me a great understanding of how worldly Rotary is. So thank you very much.
Well, thanks for joining, and I'm glad that that your first club to break with this tradition of yours is our club. So that's awesome. Please do come back anytime. We have past district governor Debbie Ross. Debbie, I know most of our members know you, but introduce yourself for our guests.
Sure, I'm most immediate past district governor for Rotary District 6450 here in Chicago. I am a member of the Orland Park Rotary Club, and along with Randy, I am part of the Rotary Rose Parade Committee for the Rose Parade that won't be happening this year. So, but we're optimistic. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining, Debbie. Good to see you. We have Salvador Farfan. Salvador, welcome back. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, thank you. And I'll call you Erike Campbell, just so that you feel like someone else is butchering the names here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you again for having me. I'm most recently from the Rotary Club of Long Beach. I'm currently without a Rotary home, but I enjoy visiting your club. And let's see, I've visited a number of times in person. I used to be in the conference and convention business when there were conferences and conventions. But that's it for me. Thanks.
All right. Well, welcome back. And by the way, I've been called worse. So let's see. Sylvia Haig. Sylvia.
Thank you, President. It's an honor to be with you this afternoon, and I'm a member of the Rotary Club of Santos Boqueirão. We have 6 members here, all women, and we've been with you all a couple of times, and the first time was back in 1991, and it's always the same feeling to be with you all. Thank you so much. Wonderful program.
Awesome.
And hi to Marga.
Everybody knows Marga.
Yeah.
Great to have you on. Thanks for joining again.
Thank you.
Let's see. We've got a Molly Martin.
Yes. Hello, everyone. And hi, Eric. Thank you. I'm Molly Martin from District 6450. Hi, Debbie. And the Youth Service Director for the Rotary Club of Naperville, which, as my colleague John Knobloch moments ago mentioned, is about 30 miles west of Chicago. And I just enjoyed every moment, and I'm still enjoying every moment of this meeting. My first visit to Rotary Club of Chicago, and just delighted to be here and be inspired by Mr. Mantegna and all of the rest of you that I'm meeting today. It's just absolutely delightful. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks for being part of the delight by joining us. Thank you so much. Let's see. I think Irv and Ruth, are you guys still on? I think you're still on. Feel free to introduce yourselves. You might have to take yourself off mute. Well, we can come back to those guys. Are there any other guests? Have I missed anybody?
President?
Yes, ma'am. Christelle, yes.
Okay.
You're live. Go ahead.
Okay, well, good afternoon. My name is Crystal. I am a former Rotaractor, Rotarian, and I have been the secretary for the last 4 years for my Rotary Club. I was so excited to like hear this meeting, but unfortunately I was working. So I was wondering, because I have been so excited, like I am a true fan from the Godfather movies. And he's on the 3rd movie, and I love his play. So is there a possibility to get the recording?
Absolutely. We record all of these meetings. It's also on Facebook Live, but we've also recorded it, and it'll be posted to our website in about a week.
Okay, well, thank you very much for the invitation, President, and nice to see you all from Honduras. Thank you.
Welcome, welcome. Good to see you as well. Other guests, anybody else that I missed?
Me? Hi, I'm
Hi.
Leslie Gonzalez from District 5300 in Covina Sunrise Rotary in California. I am the Director of International Service, and I got invited by Marga about a couple weeks ago, so this is my second time here. I really love the fact that I get your emails, and anytime I get a chance to visit, I'm really excited to do that, because there's no better way to do it than at home and anytime I can. So really, thank you guys for having us, and great program. You guys have an amazing program.
Well, thank you. That means a lot, and you're always welcome. Again, it's easy via Zoom, isn't it? Other guests, anybody else that I missed?
Just me. Susan Ray. I am the current president of the Rotary Club of Eastern Independence in the Kansas City metro area. I am super excited that I stumbled across your announcement for this particular program on Facebook, and I'm going to continue to seek out more of your programs. I really enjoy, I don't enjoy COVID, but I really like the fact that more people are doing Zoom so I can attend other meetings around the country. And I've not gone around the world yet, but around the country's been fun. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Susan, for joining. And you're absolutely right. It is definitely one of the positive things to come out of this. And it also allows us to have speakers from anywhere on the planet as well, which has been a change. Any other guests that I may have missed? Okay, well, let's move on to our announcements. I'll try to be as quick as possible. I know we're a few minutes over already. Big news, new website launching tomorrow evening. This has been a long time coming. Look for an email with login information as soon as the website goes live. It's going to hopefully make your life easy, but of course, when anything is new, it can be a little scary at first. So please do make sure you provide feedback or suggestions to myself or to our administrators at CAM to make sure that it is working for us as a club and it's advancing our strategic plan. In terms of events coming up, we have a couple of cool things. We have the Boy Scouts of America has their 8th annual golf classic. That's on October 5th at Kemper Lakes. So do reach out to board member Marilyn Lopez to either sponsor or attend that golf outing.
Hey, Eric, I put the link in the chat.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks,
it's in
Marilyn. Okay, perfect. Perfect. So find the link in the chat, and that's the easy way to just go sign up and get a little golf in. We also have the IMD, Illinois Medical District Guest House, another organization like Boy Scouts that this club has supported. They have their fall fundraiser. It is free, and it is via Zoom. It's a virtual cocktail party on October 8th at 5:30. Also, Cam will pop the link for that into the chat box. It should also be in the newsletter in the Gyrator. Our Rotary One committees do continue to meet virtually. I would say they meet even better than usual virtually. The dates are all on the calendar. Feel free to sign up that way. We have September 16th, the International Services, September 17th, PR and Marketing, October 1st, Community Service, and then we have a board meeting on October 6th. All members are welcome at any of those meetings. You don't need a special pass or anything like that. Feel free to tune in to any of those and understand more about how your club works. We also have coming up on Thursday, a little virtual fall festival as our third Thursday social event. That's September 17th, 5:30 to 6:30 via Zoom. So do kick off the new season by sharing your favorite fall cocktail foods and memories with your fellow Rotarians. Bring your favorite fall cocktail or food to the meeting and tell us a little bit about it. And while you're at it, send me one in the mail so I don't have to make it myself. We have a lot of other good meetings coming up as well. Friday, September 18th at noon, our roundtables continue. They are a resounding success. I think people have been thirsty for in-person fellowship. They are at the Union League Club. They are at noon, but show up anytime around lunchtime and you'll be sure to run into a few Rotarians at a reserved big roundtable that we have there. We've been having 6, 7, 8 people show up, and it's been really great to reconnect with people. Next Tuesday's regular meeting of our membership on September 22nd, we have our club assembly. Learn a little bit about what we're doing, how the strategic plan is going, what our committees are up to, learn about our service projects. It also will be an opportunity where we don't have a speaker per our normal program to have a little bit more fellowship and just hear about what's going on with all of our members. So I think it'll be a great opportunity to join. Also, September 29th, the following Tuesday, we have John Crawley, Chairman and CEO of Amicus Therapeutics. So a couple of good meetings coming up. And then October 6th, that meeting is going to be outdoors and in person again. So do prep for that. Hopefully the weather will still be good, though there is a backup plan for that. So with that, we're just about ready to wrap up the meeting. Thank you folks for sticking around for an extra 10 minutes to meet all of our wonderful guests from around the district, around the country, and around the world. But it is time, alas, for the four-way test. And if you could throw that up on the screen. Roberto, oh, hold on one second. I see Marilyn's hand raised. Marilyn, did you have something you wanted to add?
For those of you that love silent auctions, we have an awesome silent auction. It closes at 6 p.m. this Thursday. The link is also in the chat. Supports local scouting. Thank you.
Got it. Thanks, Marilyn. Appreciate that. So with that, now we're ready to go to the four-way test. And Roberto, if you're still on, I'd like to ask you to unmute yourself and recite for us the four-way test.
Thanks, Eric, for the honor. Just before reading our four-way test, invite you to do some research on the Junto Club, founded around 1740, more or less, by Benjamin Franklin. It has a very interesting induction process, very similar to our four-way test. Just that, so the four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendship? Fourth, will it be benefit to all concerned?
Thank you so much, Roberto. That's perfect, and we will research that club. Just send us a note with that information, and I'll be happy.
I'll put it in the chat.
Put it in the chat. Wonderful. With that, meeting adjourned.